إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستهديه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وأصحابه وسلم تسليما كثيرا. أما بعد.
Here in this booklet, the author is making dua that Allah guides you, directs you to the path, the guided path, which is the number 3. اعلم أرشدك الله لطاعته. طاعة is obedience, conformity with what is required by doing what is commanded to be done and avoiding what is forbidden. Conformity with what is required by doing what one is ordered to do and to avoid what is forbidden and sinful. Okay, let's go on with our phrase. اعلم أرشدك الله لطاعته أن الحنيفية ملة إبراهيم. No, may Allah direct you to His obedience, the al-Haneefiyyah Millat Ibraheem. Al-Haneefiyyah Millat Ibraheem. What is this al-Haneefiyyah Millat Ibraheem? And it's in the Qur'an many times. It's all over the Qur'an. And it's also mentioned in the Sunnah. In Surat al-Baqarah. وَقَالُوا كُونُوا هُودًا أَوْ نَصَارَى تَهْتَدُوا قُلْ بَلْ مِلَّةَ إِبْرَاهِيمَ حَنِيفًا وَمَا كَانَ مِنَ الْمُشْرِكِينَ. In Surah Al-Imran, ما كان إبراهيم يهوديا ولا نصرانيا ولكن كان حنيفا مسلما وما كان من المشركين. قل صدق الله فاتبعوا ملة إبراهيم حنيفا وما كان من المشركين. In Surah Al-Imran, ومن أحسن دينا ممن أسلم وجهه لله وهو محسن واتبع ملة إبراهيم حنيفا واتخذ الله إبراهيم خليلا. سورة النساء. فلما رأى الشمس بازغة قال هذا ربي هذا أكبر فلما أفلت قال يا قوم إني بريء مما تشركون إني وجهت وجهي للذي فطر السماوات والأرض حنيفا. In Surah Al-An'am, قل إنني هداني ربي إلى صراط مستقيم دينا قيما ملة إبراهيم حنيفا وما كان من المشركين. In Surah Al-An'am, إن إبراهيم كان أمة قانتا لله حنيفا ولم يكن من المشركين. In Surah Al-Nahl. What's this Millat Ibrahim Haneefa mentioned? This is just some verses. There's more. Before we go deeper, simply put the definition. Here's the definition. Al-Haneefiyyah is the religion that is free from shirk and founded upon purity and sincerity of intention for Allah. It's the true and straight, pure religion. It is Islam. Now let's go to the root word and see the connection in the meaning. In the real Arabic, the original Arabic, the old Arabs would say رجل حنفاء with a kasra on the ra. ورجل أحنف a fatha on the ra. The first one means رجل حنفاء means a leg that's حنفاء. Leg that's حنفاء. Second one means a man who is ahnaf. A woman, a female poet called al-Ahnaf used to say, والله لولا حنف برجله ما كان في فتيانكم من مثله. A female poet used to say about someone, using this root word, had he not had hanaf in his legs, there would not be in your youth anyone compared to him. He has a deficiency. Otherwise, he'd be the best one. We're using her line of poetry for linguistic purposes. Why would they describe legs or a man as being ahnaf or hanaf? Why would they use that? Because linguistically, when Arabs used to use it, ahnaf, for the legs or talk about a man, they meant that person has pigeon toes or what's called in-toeing. When the toes are pointed toward each other, most people's toes are, normal people, are straightforward. Some toes point towards each other. We commonly refer to that today as pigeon toes, or more medically appropriately called in-toeing. It's when the front portion of the feet at the rest turns inward. turns inward. Look at that, turns inward. Okay, now you're saying in your mind, you gave us the definition of the shar'i meaning, that it's purity and sincerity and away from shirk and all that. And then you went a million miles away explaining the linguistic rule meaning of Haneefa. What's the term itself? It means linguistically. What's the purpose? The purpose I did that is to draw a connection between the linguistic meaning and the shar'i meaning that we took. Because like Islam, literally it means, linguistically, it's submission. That's it. With shar'i meaning is submission to Allah with tawheed, following in obedience and refraining from shirk. Just like in tajweed. For example, the noon as-sakina rules. Al-idhar, al-idgham, al-ikhfa, al-iqlab. There's always a connection between the literal linguistic meaning and the shar'i meaning. There's always a connection. Now, what's the connection between the linguistic meaning of Haneefa and the shar'i Islamic meaning that we mentioned? The connection is that Haneefa literally means to lean, to turn, to incline. And the connection is, it's to incline and turn totally to Tawheed, lean towards Tawheed, and lean away from shirk. Some defined Haneefiyyah, some scholars, as turning to Allah and turning away from other than Allah, because it means turn to Tawheed and turning away from shirk. That's the connection. Al-Qurtubi said, Haneefa ma'ilan an al-adyan al-makruha ila al-haq din Ibrahim. Haneefa is turning away from disliked faith to the true religion of Ibrahim. Ibn Ashur, in his book At-Tahrir wa Tanwir, which is a 30-volume tafsir, he said Haneefiyyah or Hanif is when you veer off track. He stated that it was considered a praise to Ibrahim. He needed to veer off track because during his time, the people were in deep darkness and astray, so he turned away from that course. He turned away, he veered away, meaning he veered off the course of shirk. He turned away from shirk and he turned to the path of Tawheed. Sometimes it's good to be different. Sometimes it's best to take a detour that no one else has taken, or a detour everyone else has warned you about. Ibn Ashur said after that, Al-Haneefiyyah became a symbol or an honorary term of praise in honor of Ibrahim alayhi salam. Another point on Al-Haneefiyyah is that it also means Islam. And Islam means Haneefiyyah. They can be used interchangeably. During Ibrahim's time and during today in our millah. Today, not many would understand if you say, I'm on the Haneefiyyah. Most you'd have to sit and explain it to them. Or if you tell them, I follow the Haneefiyyah, if he asks you what's your religion. Just like not many during Ibrahim's time understood what Islam is. ما كان إبراهيم يهوديا ولا نصرانيا ولكن كان حنيفا مسلما. Ibrahim was neither a Jew nor a Christian, but he was a Haneefa. A Haneefa, you mentioned Haneefa first, then Muslim. Haneefa and Muslima. Both terms were used there. Ibrahim turned away from both courses, both religions, and turned to Haneefa Muslima. We need to know that word in depth because it is a word that's very important and essential to the people of La ilaha illallah, especially the strongholders of Tawheed, those who study and want to master Tawheed. Ibn Ashur said Ibrahim used Haneefa in replace of Islam during his time at times because people back then didn't know what Islam is, so he used Haneefa because they knew what Haneefa was. Even though Ibrahim called himself Muslim, he used Haneefa because his people didn't know it. When he built the Kaaba, what was he saying? Him and his son. Rabbana waj'alna muslimaini. Oh Allah, make us Muslims. But then he used Haneefa. Why? Ibn Ashur said he used it because the people during his time didn't know what Muslim was. They knew what Haneefa was. قل يا أيها الناس إن كنتم في شك من ديني فلا أعبد الذين تعبدون من دون الله ولكن أعبد الله الذي يتوفاكم وأمرت أن أكون من المؤمنين وأن أقم وجهك للدين حنيفا ولا تكونن من المشركين. In Surah Yunus, Allah tells the Prophet ﷺ, وأن أقم, you, direct you, Direct your face, O Muhammad. Allah is directing the Prophet to follow this Haneefiyyah. Direct your face, O Muhammad, entirely towards the religion of Hanif. In similar verse in Surah Al-Rum, فأقم وجهك للدين حنيفا فطرة الله التي فطر الناس عليها لا تبديل لخلق الله ذلك الدين القيم ولكن أكثر الناس لا يعلمون. Even the Prophet ﷺ in his hadith said, إني أرسلت بحنيفية سمحة. In Musnad Ahmad, I was sent with Haneefiyyah Samha. I was sent with Haneefiyyah Samha. And when he was asked, the Prophet ﷺ, what's the religion most beloved to Allah? In Musnad Ahmad, what is it? He said, al-Haneefiyyah as-Samha. In Musnad Ahmad, when he was asked, what's the most religion that's beloved to Allah? He said, al-Haneefiyyah as-Samha. What's al-Haneefiyyah as-Samha? We took al-Haneefiyyah. As-Samha means the easygoing religion. The religion that's very easy. And as you know, our religion is founded on being easy. If you look at our religion overall, it's very easy. And when matters are very difficult on one where he can't do them, they turn to be easy, with the exception rules that we have. However, there may be some details that are difficult and that one has to do if they're under his mean. It doesn't mean there's some aspects that are not difficult. There is some aspects that are difficult. Now, the point is that Haneefiyyah and Islam can be used interchangeably. You have to understand that. The last detail on this Haneefiyyah issue is that don't get Haneefiyyah and Ahnaf messed up. Al-Haneefiyyah, the Millat of Ibrahim, is one thing, and the Ahnaf, the followers of Abu Hanifa, which is the school of fiqh that Abu Hanifa established, that's a total different thing.